I just looked at that list again of the things that are distracting to drivers that cause the most crashes. And Kristen was just going down the list without even looking at them. The cell phone was number one, then daydreaming number two.
Did he ruin your segment?
Yeah.
I just go at him so fast.
That's what 35 years in this business will do. That's what 35 years at this company will
35
do.
years.
35 years. You said, I didn't even think, well, the one you didn't say, I don't know. I guess it does cause some distraction. You said daydreaming, you said cell phones, which was right.
Yeah, mine were like cell phones, food,
food.
And kids.
Eating and driving, kids, reaching for stuff like something in the back seat. Yeah. Other passengers, especially dangerous for teen drivers who are caught up in conversation with other passengers.
Or making videos or dancing or whatever.
Well, clearly. If you're making a video, that could be like all of the above, couldn't it? It's cell phone related, it's other passenger related, all of them. Then the last two are messing with onboard systems like the air conditioning or the radio.
Yeah, and I think some of these cars might have video in them, too. They have those video screens that might actually have video on them.
There was one commercial during one of the sporting events I saw. I don't think it was the Masters, but it might have been a golf tournament or something recently that I was watching. And it was one of those hands-free car. Maybe it was the during the Masters, because they have what? Mercedes and two others, IBM and AT&T. They're the only ones who advertise.
That's right.
So you're right. It was a Mercedes-Benz commercial, and they showed this guy put on this full automatic self-driving car. And then he sits back and starts watching golf on the screen on his car.
Now, is that legal?
That's very irresponsible.
Are you allowed to watch a movie or golf while you drive, even in a self-driving car?
I don't think there are any laws that are on the books that even deal with that.
I would think the car
I thought you
maker...
had to keep your hands on the wheel.
No.
You do not.
No, look at the pickup truck. Remember the Queen song where they're
clapping.
The GMC trucks.
But I think you're supposed to keep your eye on the road.
Well, you'd think, yeah.
Yeah.
I can speak on this.
You have a self-driving car?
No. One of my earliest...
You drive with your gut?
One of my earliest poor decisions.
He just said...
I heard him.
Just say it near me.
He did. He's right in front of you. Do something.
Say it on a day when my eyesight is where it should be.
I can't see which one of y'all
I
said
can't
that.
see which one of y'all. It's very blurry.
He's thinking exactly.
All right. Say it when my eyesight
I'm over here. No, I'm over here.
I'm compromised. I'm compromised or I'd be fighting.
Hit me.
Don't think I'm going to sit here and...
Look, we all knee drive, but Biggie doesn't need to knee drive.
God.
You don't need any.
Goodness gracious.
I can't get to him. There's glass between us.
There is?
No wonder you're so... Oh.
I can't see. All right, so say what you got to say.
One of my earliest, poorest purchases that put me in credit card debt
That's right.
was a DVD player that popped out of my dash.
That's right.
And I was told at the time, because they were selling these at a major box store retailer, you're good.
Yeah.
And this is 20 years ago.
Dang.
So
Was that a Circuit City purchase or a...
No, that was a Best Buy purchase.
Best Buy.
Yeah.
They were all the rage 25 years ago. Biggie's right.
Car DVD players.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was
Like for the passenger, of course.
No. I mean, it was just like...
No?
The way I watched Ray was in my truck.
He's blind as I am.
right.
Yeah.
Ray was a better driver.
Ray was a better driver than you.
Yeah. It was the only movie I watched. In fact, I wasn't moving as I watched it either. I sat in a parking lot. I had to go back to the pizza place late one night, count inventory, had to kill 2 hours.
Unbelievable.
Did you cry when his brother had the thing with the brother?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the film.
That's right.
I haven't seen Ray.
right.
I want to see
a masterpiece.
Ray. I want to see
But I asked, because they were selling them, I said, can you even sell these? Like, yeah. And they put it in. Terrible. I mean, it maybe worked right for 6 months before one day the screen came out and just got stuck up.
Where did it go? I mean, did it pop out or was it always there?
No, it popped out.
From where?
From like where you're they took out the stock radio
stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then because they had to do, it was like, a half-day project back then.
Yeah.
They took out the stock radio, put that in, and then the screen came out from the dash and popped up.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For 6 months when it worked right.
I bet your boys loved it.
Oh, of course. That was great.
Because remember, there was a rash of stories about that time when people were watching pornos.
Oh,
Yeah.
while
and
driving.
walking, the people behind them were
That's
complaining.
right. That's
My kid's
right.
watching porno.
That's right. From
Adult content.
warning,
Warning.
Warning.
But from the car behind.
Yeah.
People were complaining that the cruising people were watching porn.
But
night.
now, beyond all that, how does the law allow a video device to go into a vehicle? How can you allow? Surely that would be against the law. You'd think.
I mean, distracted driving is, I suppose, against the law, but
I don't think it's ever been against the law.
It's
to be
not.
distracted,
No, to have video in your car.
they would never have written the law. How could they?
So you're
Unless
saying,
they've updated it.
So distracted driving is against the law no matter what it is. So a radio could be a distraction. Another passenger, obviously, can be a distraction.
Food. You're not supposed to eat.
I mean,
and
I'm
drive.
assuming that that's against the law, but I
eating-
don't know.
Now, eating and driving is not against the law.
It's not against the law, but if it creates distracted driving, it could be.
Right. So that I guess it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's like eating is not against the law. Neither is watching a DVD.
But if it causes an accident or is a distraction, then yes.
It would feel like I mean, video seems to be one step too far. You know.
Yeah, I could not believe that Mercedes-Benz was doing that. This guy just sat back and watched
Yes.
golf.
Yeah. I
When
mean,
these cars have these beautiful TV screens in them right there
Yeah.
in front of you.
The information screens.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got internet available.
It's right there.
I mean, music is one thing, or eating, but now video is too far.
Yeah,
in my
but
opinion.
before they got into the giant touch screens, a lot of car manufacturers tried to put as many things as they could on your steering wheel.
Right.
Cruise control,
Right.
radio.
Right.
You don't know anything about this, Kelly, but
No.
you can sometimes I can turn the volume up and down with my phone or my steering wheel, and also change radio stations with my left hand.
Absolutely.
I know.
And sources. And then you'd have the paddles if you wanted to go manual.
It's so disappointing because, as you said, in my vehicle, my 1998 Acura, I have none of that. But in my wife's car, it's all there. You know, everything's on the steering wheel, just all that stuff you said. So if I get used to driving it, then go back to my Acura, oftentimes my thumb will just be searching for the button, and it's not there. And I wind up blowing the horn. Beep,
Yeah.
beep, and people get mad at me.
I mean, these Teslas are nothing but screens.
Chris, you're talking about video screens in the car and Biggie's DVD player in his car 20 years ago. Go ahead.
Hey guys, huge P1.
Thanks.
So I used to be in law enforcement full time, and in North Carolina, at least, it is illegal to have a video screen that is visible to the driver. It's a charge that I've actually charged 2 people with it.
There it is.
Didn't they used to at the time tilt the screen just enough so that it was supposedly aimed at the passenger?
Yeah, that was kind of the workaround for it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I remember that too.
That makes sense. That's
all
the
coming
one.
back.
Okay.
That's
There it
funny.
is. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
you.
Well, it should be. It should be against the law to have a video screen to watch movies in your car.
I guess if you get caught doing it, but those screens are big and bold in some of these electric cars.
Oh, I know that. So you can get the internet on those screens?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they've got some Wi-Fi within them, I think.
Yeah, a lot of times they want to charge you a monthly fee, like you want Wi-Fi in your car.
Your car becomes a hotspot.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. William, you're talking about video screens in cars too. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. We way back in the day, I was 17 at the time. I signed up for the Army. The recruiter, we left one early morning, about 3-4 o'clock in the morning. We were headed to, I live in Horry County. We were headed to Columbia, to Fort Jackson, to do my in processing. Well, we're driving a government vehicle. It says U.S. government on the tag. We had a car pull up beside us in the left lane, get just far enough in front of us, and had porn playing across 3 different screens in this car. And they rode beside us for a good 45 minutes to make sure that the government car got to see their porn.
For you young men going off to who knows where.
This will be the last porn you see for
Thank you
12
for your
weeks.
service. Thanks for your service. There's a little something back for you.
Little something for you before you start taking saltpeter.
Classic. Thanks, William. That is classic.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that era.
Yeah, the porn in
Because
the
there were,
cars.
you could still get DVDs with porn
That's
on it.
right.
then.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. Phenomenal. And the only other distraction is lack of sleep, which counts as a distraction.
I get it.
You know, of course.
I get
that's
it
true.
too. You got to pull over and take a nap.
If that counts as a distraction, it is. No question about it.
And isn't that one of the sleep apnea signals? I mean, you would fall asleep at stoplights.
Yeah.
I hear that a
You
lot.
ever do that, Biggie?
I never did that. No.
That's scary.
You just fell asleep at work.
Right. We remember
Oh yeah.
a difficult time for all of us. But yes, I would fall asleep at stoplights, and that was miserable.
And you take naps in parking lots.
A lot. Remember, my lowest moment was probably at the gym. I'd had a big old Chick-fil-A lunch, and I went to the gym.
And go to the gym.
I went to the gym, and I laid down. I said, let me just take a little 30-minute car nap. Well, I slept
In the parking lot
in
of
the
the
parking
gym.
lot of the gym.
Wake up in the sunset.
Yeah. That's like, well, there's no point in me going in now. I'll just drive over to home.
I get some chicken for dinner, I guess.
Yep, going my way back. I could eat some more of that.
Just drove on home. That was my gym visit in the 1990s.
Yeah.
I would go and sleep.
And not just once.
No,
It
not
didn't
just
take
once.
back then.
No, it didn't take. I needed strong women in spandex, as Kristen points out, to tell me what to do.
Beat me.
Coming up, a closer look at the dumbest yard work argument of the year as part of a Demm report after your world in 60 seconds.
Clashes between police and pro-Palestinian demonstrators are intensifying. Protests at Columbia University in New York are now in their 8th day.
President Biden signed that bill providing almost $100 billion in new aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, and raising questions about the future of TikTok.
The new rules will make refunds automatic when airlines owe passengers money for flights that are significantly delayed or canceled.
The justices will consider whether or not former President Donald Trump should have absolute immunity in his federal case surrounding his efforts to try to overturn the 2020 election.
This begins a Demm report here. Two guys named Chris Show.
We've got a case of international law here, and I don't know that even our attorney, Lisa Lanier, could get this guy out of this. It's news from other countries, and I don't think we've ever done this particular country on this program before. Turks and Caicos.
Oh, you love it. It's lovely.
I got lucky enough to visit there 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Beautiful.
You cannot believe how beautiful and blue the water is.
Is that British? Dutch? We don't know.
I don't recall.
Beautiful place.
I don't recall. It is spectacular. Well, Ryan and Valerie Watson took their two kids to the Caribbean islands for a friend's 40th birthday party. Big group, families and everything. Today, Valerie and the kids are back home in Oklahoma, but Ryan is still in Turks and Caicos. He was detained on April the 12th because as he was preparing to board his flight home, security officials at the airport in Turks found 4 rounds of ammunition in Ryan's bag. That is a major infraction of Turks law.
Mm-hmm.
Possession of a gun or ammunition is against the law.
Wow.
Period.
Yes.
Flat out. Full stop.
The end. It's over. Right. Okay.
Now, previously, Americans mostly have taken their things to Turks and been given a fine. However, I think in just the past few months, the country's decided to crack down. And here's where things get awkward for poor Ryan Watson. The minimum sentence, 12 years.
Oh, God. At least it'll be nice sunsets at the jail.
Yeah.
You know, it's Turks and Caicos.
I mean, that
Yeah,
water
beautiful.
is painfully blue.
Gorgeous. Yeah, you'll look at it from the bars.
That makes it more painful, though, when you're looking out over the
Can't get
beautiful
to it.
Caribbean.
Can't get to
Now,
it.
of course, you may be thinking to yourself, how did the bullets get into the country?
Of course.
The TSA in Oklahoma City did not spot the ammunition,
Ooh.
Yeah.
which is a flaw. Brian said, I went on a hunting trip. The ammunition was left over in my duffel bag, which he used as his carry-on. So TSA didn't spot it on the way to Turks, but they found it coming back. So now Ryan is out of jail. He bailed out. He made bail, but he cannot leave the island, and he had to surrender his passport.
Boy,
He is
stuck there.
Stuck.
Yeah. Because this is making like national news now because I believe the family's, appealing to the government for help.
Biggie's right.
But
they need to send him home.
It's just bullets.
Yeah, I don't think he meant he clearly it was a mistake on the. I mean, he shouldn't have had the bullets, I guess. But what would have happened if they'd caught him in Oklahoma City? They would have said
In Oklahoma City, they probably just confiscated the bullets.
exactly. So now, but because they made a mistake, the bullets go into Turks and Caicos, and now he could be in prison for 12 years. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. They should have caught those, but that's not on him.
Usually, you're of the
I know.
mind of if you break a law in another country, that's on you. And the U.S. government has sent warnings to travelers who are going to Turks, do not bring ammunition.
But he didn't know that. He didn't know he was bringing ammunition. He said it was an accident, or it should have been caught in Oklahoma City.
But let me say, this is the problem. What you're doing right now is you're like, oh, he's got a family. He's an American. He's not lying. But somebody
you think
else
he might be lying?
No, I'm saying somebody else doesn't and they'll say the same thing. Well, the other place missed it, and they could be lying.
I guess, but the other place did miss it.
I don't know.
Are
they
they
should have caught
confessing
it.
up that they missed it?
Well, they obviously did, right? Or he didn't buy it in Turks and Caicos.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. There's no way.
No,
So-
he said it was from a hunting trip back in the U.S.
Yeah.
I wonder how it got through the X-ray there. You said it was a carry-on.
Yeah.
Through the X-ray
in
machine.
Oklahoma City. I mean, to me, the
Exactly.
fault lies there.
Well, and you could also double back and say, when you're packing your bags, you've got to
course.
know what you're putting in your bag.
Of course.
Absolutely.
TSA confiscates hundreds of weapons, and people quote-unquote responsible gun owners don't even know they have.
No, I agree, but what happens to them? Not much, right? The gun is confiscated. That's it.
That's why they're going to keep doing it.
This time, yeah, they didn't do their job. He gets to Turks and Caicos, and now he could go to jail for 12 years.
But I don't think TSA is responsible if they miss it for your. You shouldn't have it in your bag. You should have checked your bag.
No, I agree.
Before you packed to make sure that.
You're right, but should he spend 12 years in prison?
Well, that's out of America's hands.
Yeah, I don't like that. Look,
I don't like it either.
I'm all for. I
think 3 Americans have been detained there already.
I'm totally for. If he goes to that country and breaks one of their laws in that country, he does it. He gets there and spits on the sidewalk, and the rule for that is you go to jail for a month because you spit on the sidewalk. Then that's on you. He didn't even know he was bringing this in. He didn't even know it was there. They should have caught it at TSA. I mean, this guy just does not deserve to be in jail for 12 years.
I agree with you on that.
I don't believe, I mean, it's common sense.
Yeah.
I think that's a slippery slope.
Yeah, he had all the warnings in the world. He packed his own bag.
Yeah, the State Department would say, if you go look, which I know most people don't, you go look, it's going to say, don't do this. If you're going to this country or going to this area,
you don't have.
Make sure. And I mean, if you're a hunter and you deal with guns, you better make sure that there's nothing in there.
So he should have known better.
Yeah, it's on him. It's unfortunate that it's that long of a period that he has to stay there or that he's in their clutches. I mean, it's a great place to be, but at the end of the day, TSA is not going to own up to this and say, sorry, bring him back. It's our fault.
But it is our fault. I mean, it is. How's it not?
Partially their fault.
But they'll get reprimanded from TSA. You missed this. They're going to get a slap on the hand. Maybe somebody will get fired.
But he didn't.
But he's not.
He didn't look into his bag when he packed it. Leaving the U.S., he didn't look into his bag when he packed it. Leaving Turks.
But should he spend 12 years in prison?
That's their law.
I just don't think so. Anonymous. I mean, I think we should fight to get him back. Anonymous, you're talking about what goes on other countries packing ammo. Go ahead.
Hey, so love your show, P1.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got a story, so I'm going to make this quick. I was in the military years and years ago, and we did a training over in Poland, and I had a backpack that we used to carry ammunition and dynamite and whatever else, C4 and all that in it. Well, when I came back to Germany, I was stationed over there. My parents came over. They wanted to go to Italy. I said, all right. So I dumped everything out of my go bag. I used it as, a carry-on. Went through the German, safety and everything, the security and whatnot. Got down to Italy, toured all over Italy. When we went to go back on to get on the plane to go back to Germany, I had a one bullet that was in the bag that was still in there, and the Italians caught it. And they pulled me aside and they said, hey, what about this bullet? What's going on with this? And I said, well, hey, you could have it, souvenir, whatever. I don't need it. And I said, well, I went through the German security and they didn't catch it. And they're like, the Germans didn't catch this? I said, no, I went through the German security and all this other stuff. They're like, they didn't catch this? And they started pulling all these other people like, look what we found. The Germans didn't catch this. And this was probably 15 years ago. They're probably still talking about that. I just walked away, got on the plane.
The Germans. Boy, are you serious? The Germans didn't catch it?
He's the guy. He got it through your Germany with a bullet.
You see this bullet this guy got?
Luigi, look at the bullet.
This guy.
Fantastic.
He a hero.
Thank you, Anonymous. Great story.
Germany make a mistake.
Now, look, y'all were friends in the 40s.
Anonymous, you're talking about this story as well. Guy goes into Turks and Caicos, accidentally has bullets in his luggage. Now he's on the hook for 12 years in prison. Go ahead. Anonymous.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we have a condo in Turks and Caicos, and we've been there, many, many, many times. First of all, it's a British territory. Secondly, their security is definitely a little more. They inspect things a little more there when you leave.
Yeah.
Then we leave out of Charlotte, because we live near Charlotte. So when we go there, like our son doesn't have to take his shoes off, things like that. When we come home, our son has to take his shoes off. They really go through your stuff.
Right.
So it's definitely different. We're very, very careful when we're there because we know that they have it's a small country, it's a small population, and they want to keep it under control.
Well, are you okay with this guy spending 12 years in prison because of this mistake he made?
No, but I think that, that was probably an honest mistake, but it's a big deal. Guns are a big deal there. Most of the time, the biggest problem they have with guns is Americans who are coming in on boats, like from other islands, and then, they'll get caught with a gun and they get in big trouble for it. But
well, that makes sense.
we know this because we've been there so many times, but yeah, you cannot bring a gun onto Turks and Caicos.
Clearly, obviously.
Or even the bullets.
Great, thank you. Golly, I'd love to.
I know about that condo.
Yeah, I've never gotten to hear the wealthy to wealthy greeting before. That's like seeing a secret handshake. I have a condo in Turks and Caicos. That's me. It's like you two were communicating in your own language.
Yeah, what is that? Well, that's called money.
Yeah, that's
hit me up.
Oh, we don't rent it out on VRBO.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that.
Two Guys Named Chris show.